All right, so you're diving into an SAP S/4HANA migration.
Yep.
And you're working with credit memo requests.
Right.
And you found out that the standard migration cockpit by API, that's the BAPI cell sorter create from DAT2,
hmm
it's really designed for standard sales orders, those category C ones.
That's right. Yeah.
And it might seem like you've hit a wall, right?
Yeah, it can feel that way.
Like, how are you going to get this data in?
Uh-huh.
But don't worry, there's a way. And that's what we're going to deep dive into today.
Absolutely.
We're going to show you how the migration cockpit is actually super flexible.
It really is.
You can customize it, and we're going to focus on this thing called the Migration Object Modeler,
Okay.
LTMOM. It's like your secret weapon
I like that. Secret weapon.
to get around those limitations, you know?
Yeah.
And we'll also look at some other BAPIs and business objects that could be helpful.
Sounds good.
So first things first, can you quickly break down why that standard BAPI just won't cut it for these credit memo requests?
Sure. So that standard BAPI you mentioned, the BAPI sales order create from DAT2,
Right.
it's built for the sales order business object, BUS 2032.
Okay.
And that object really only deals with sales document category C.
Gotcha.
So anything else, credit memo request, returns, debit memo request,
Yeah.
it just won't work directly.
So it's like trying to fit a square peg in a round hole.
Exactly.
But the cool thing is that SAP made the migration cockpit extensible.
Yeah.
They built in that flexibility on purpose.
Right. And that's where LTMOM comes in.
LTMOM, that's the key.
Exactly.
Can you walk us through what makes it so powerful?
Well, with LTMOM, you're basically telling the migration cockpit, hey, I need you to handle data a bit differently here.
Okay.
You're mapping source data, setting rules for data transformation.
Ah, I see.
And if you need to, you can even bring in your own custom code.
Oh, wow.
And all this happens in transaction LTMOM.
All right, so transaction LTMRM is where all the magic happens. And I know there are some resources out there to help people really master it, right?
Definitely.
Like if they want to become an LTMOM ninja,
A ninja. That's a good way to put it.
what would you recommend?
So SAP KBA 2576565 is a great starting point.
Okay.
And there's a really good open SAP course called Migrating Your Business Data to SAP S/4HANA.
Excellent. We'll link those in the show notes.
Okay.
So we've talked about why the standard BAPI isn't the best tool for the job here.
Right.
Are there any pre-built alternatives in SAP that might be a better fit for credit memos specifically?
Yeah, for sure. And there are a couple that come to mind.
Okay, great.
One that stands out is epistles do Q-create from data.
Babazadoka create from data.
Yes, and what's interesting is that this BAPI is actually meant to handle different types of sales documents,
Okay.
credit memos included.
Perfect.
And think of a BAPI like it's a function call with specific inputs and outputs for a particular task.
Great.
And this one comes with dedicated structures for all those credit memo details you need.
Like what?
Things like referencing documents, giving a reason for the credit.
So it's already set up to handle the specifics of credit memos.
Exactly.
Nice.
Now, if you're ever looking for other useful BAPIs for sales and distribution,
Okay.
SAP Note 93091 is your friend,
Okay.
and the API Business Hub is another great resource.
Got it. So Bapicel do create from data is a good option, and those resources can help us find even more.
That's right.
Now, you also mentioned business objects, specifically BUS 2094 for credit memo requests.
Yeah.
How does that fit into all of this?
So BUS 2094, it's a bit different.
Okay.
It offers a more object-oriented approach.
Object-oriented, all right.
You can think of a business object like a whole entity with actions you can do to it.
Okay.
So for BOS 2094, those actions would be things like create, change, delete.
Specifically for credit memo requests.
Exactly.
Interesting. So it's not just about the data structure, it's about what you can do with it. So you're saying a BAPI is more like a specific tool for a specific job.
Yes.
And a business object is more like a comprehensive framework for working with a particular type of data.
That's a great way to put it.
Okay.
With the business object, you might have to do a bit more coding to get exactly what you need.
Okay.
But it gives you a different level of interaction with the data.
Gotcha.
And if you want to learn more, there are often a lot of community discussions online
Oh, that's great.
about both BAPI Q create from data and BUST 2094.
Yeah, we'll see if we can dig some of those up and add them to the show notes.
Yeah, that'd be good.
Okay, so now we've got more specialized pre-built tools and a more action-oriented business object to work with.
Yes.
But what happens if our needs are just super unique?
Right.
Can we get that granular with our customization?
Absolutely.
I saw that we can create our own function modules.
Yes, you can.
When would we want to do that, and how does it even work?
So for really, really specific needs,
Okay.
you can build custom ABAP function modules using tools like SE80 or SE37.
All right.
This gives you the ultimate flexibility, but yeah, it does require some ABAP knowledge.
Makes sense. You're essentially writing your own program here.
Yeah, pretty much.
They handle the data just the way you want.
Exactly.
So what are some key things to remember when creating these function modules?
Okay, two really important things. First,
Okay.
don't use the commit work statement in your code.
Got it. No commit work.
And second, use the BAPI structure for any messages you need to send back.
BAPI 2. All right.
If you want to learn ABAP, the SAP Help Portal and the ABAP Academy are great resources.
Excellent. More links for the show notes.
For sure.
And sometimes the standard data structures in SAP just don't have the right fields.
Right.
That's where creating new structures in S11 comes in, right?
Exactly.
Can you walk us through that?
So you go to transaction SE11, the ABAP dictionary.
Okay.
You choose data type, give your structure a name. It usually starts with Z or Y.
Okay.
And then you define all the fields you need.
So their names, their data types, how long they are, all those details.
Precisely. You're building a custom container for your data.
Cool.
So let's say you need a field for sales document number.
Yeah.
You'd give it the name VBL, data type char, length 10.
Okay. VBLN char 10.
Then maybe you need a field for the item number.
Yeah.
That would be POSNR, data type NUMC, length 6.
POSNR, NUMC6.
And so on for all the fields you need.
So this way, we're not limited by the existing structure.
Right. You're creating exactly what you need.
Now, can we tie these custom function modules we create directly into LTMOM?
You can.
That sounds really powerful.
It is, but it can get a bit tricky.
Okay.
So first, you build and test your module in SE37. Remember, no commit work. Use BAPI 2 for messages.
Right. Got it.
Then in LTMOM, you go to the settings for your migration object and specify your function module there.
I see.
But you need the correct authorization to do this, and it's important to understand what you're doing.
Definitely.
Best to consult with someone who has experience with this kind of customization.
Yeah, better safe than sorry. Okay, so we've built this awesome custom migration project with LTMOM, our function modules, and maybe even some new structures.
Right.
What if we need to move it to a different client in our SAP system?
Okay, so there are two main ways to do that.
All right.
The first is using file staging in LTMOM.
Okay.
You export the project as a file and then import it into the other client.
Simple enough.
The second way is direct transport,
Okay.
where you add your project to a transport request in LTMOM.
All right, and then the standard SAP transport system takes care of the rest.
Right.
So even though the standard migration cockpit has limitations with credit memo requests, SAP gives us all these options to customize it.
Yes, that's the beauty of it.
We can use alternative BAPIs, work with business objects, build our own function modules and data structures, and it's all managed through LTMOM.
Exactly.
Which is pretty amazing when you think about it.
It is. It really gives you a lot of control.
And for our listeners, I just want to reiterate those resources we mentioned.
Yeah, good idea.
The SAP KBAs, the Open SAP course SAP Notes, the API Business Hub, the Help Portal, and the ABAP Academy.
All fantastic resources.
So much good information out there.
There is.
Now, here's something to think about as we wrap up.
Okay.
We've seen how these tools can help you with credit memo requests.
Right.
But what other data migration challenges in your SAP S/4HANA system might seem impossible at first?
That's a great question.
But could be solved if you get creative with these same tools.
Definitely something to consider.
It's all about thinking outside the box a little.
I agree.
Thanks for joining us for this deep dive,
My pleasure.
and we'll see you next time.
Sounds good.